Hi guys, my name is Alyssa Hope Wagner, and today I am defending horns. So in the Bible, horns represent God's strength. You can see tons of scriptures about King David talking about the horn of God over him. King David, King Solomon were both anointed with oil from a horn. Hannah, when she finally gives birth to Samuel, she talks about the horn of God, and she actually prophesies about Jesus Christ being the horn of salvation. And so the Bible is full of horns, and they're all good. There are some counterfeits, and that belongs to the enemy, but for the most part, the horn represents God's strength. But what happened in 1979 is that Ozzy Osbourne left Black Sabbath, and he used to use a peace sign when he would go on stage. And so when Ronnie James Dio took over, he wanted to use a different sign. And so he actually took his Italian grandmother's sign to ward off evil spirits in the evil eye, which was the horns, because she knows the power of the horns in the Bible. And so she would ward off enemies with that. It was just sometimes a metaphor in life helps us to grasp on to the abstract nature of it, if that makes sense, like the baptism and the Eucharist. It helps us to fully understand, have a tangible way to understand these spiritual truths. And so she would use the horn to ward off evil spirits and the evil eye and curses. And so he used that on stage, and then it got twisted into the devil's horns, which if you don't fully understand what horns represent in the Bible, the enemy will take over and he will put his counterfeit there. Remember, there's only a counterfeit if the truth exists. And so the horns of Satan exist because there's a more powerful truth behind it. And I say all this because when Israel would blow the horn, it was a show of strength. And so sometimes when I feel like the enemy is attacking my house or attacking my mind, I'll blow this shofar, and I'm not very good at it, but I'll blow it just as a symbol of I know who my strength is. It's through Jesus Christ. He's the horn of David. He's the horn of my salvation. He is God's strength on this earth. He's God's strength in my life. And I'm just reminding all the powers that be that I know where my strength is, and you can't, and I don't give you authority. I'm not going to give the enemy authority. And also, I wanted to say I do put horns on my characters in my fantasy fiction book, the Violet Moon series. And the reason that I did this is because the river dwellers have kept the God as their authority, and they have God's strength over their lives, and so they keep their horns. But the sand shapers extract their horns, which is symbolic of they have taken God out of their lives. And so in my book, I understand what horns mean. I understand it means the strength of God, and so I'm able to write it into my book with the true identity of what horns mean. And so we have to be able to look at any metaphor in the Bible and say, is this metaphor being used for good or evil? And in my article attached to this video, I actually talk about scriptures where it shows there's horns of wickedness and there's horns of righteousness. And if we don't make sure we have God's strength on earth, which is Jesus Christ, the horn of salvation, the horn of David, if we don't have that horn in our life, then we give authority to the enemy and whatever powers and strengths he wants to put in our lives. That's why it's very important that we establish Jesus Christ as our horn. He's our horn of salvation. He's God's strength in our lives. His banner is over us. We want to make sure we establish that so the enemy does not get room. So I just wanted to defend horns to you today and defend the fact that this does not mean well, maybe to some people it means the devil's horns, but biblically in a Christian's life, it means the horn of salvation. It means Jesus Christ's power and authority in our lives, and we're not going to give it to anybody else. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it. Let everybody know we're taking back the horns. We're defending horns, and we're not going to let the enemy take over a metaphor that's biblically God's strength. I hope you guys have a blessed day.